Welcome to SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Janine Blake. First, we here at the Inuvialuit Communication Society would like to congratulate APTN on their successful launch Wednesday, September 1st. We all enjoyed the show and we look forward to working with you on future programming. On our show, SUAANGAN, we'll bring you the recent happenings in the Beaufort Delta. Some of the regular updates that we will have this year will be segments on the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation and its subsidiaries, updates on the community corporations, and information on the Beaufort Delta self-government negotiations. We will begin this show with an interview with the Chair and Chief Executive Officer of the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation, Nellie Cournoyea, who joins us in studio. How has IRC evolved over the past 15 years?
Well, I think like any other corporate group, it's had its ups and downs, but it's survived. It's healthy. It's a healthy corporation. But at the same time, we're continue to try to stabilize it. We continue to try to put policies and procedures so the beneficiaries know, how we have to act. So if we don't act according to the policies and procedures that the Board of Directors of IRC approve, then there's something to measure our performance against. I think that in setting up or implementing the final agreement has been a very difficult task because we were the first, and we've had a lot of difficulties in getting government to recognize that the claim needs ongoing implementation. Given that we didn't have an implementation plan as stated, but took it for granted that a signed document between the federal government, territorial government ourselves would normally be responded to on a continuous basis so that it does work. But we are now dealing with the government on an implementation plan so that we have a time frame to deal with the outstanding issues. So we're not where we should be. I would say we're maybe about 7-8 years beyond implementation when we should have done certain things, but we're not. We are a healthy organization, but there are a lot of things that could be better.
What does the organizational structure look like?
The final Inuvialuit final agreement in its makeup has the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation, which is basically the political arm and the overall corporate responsible partner. And there's a game council, which is a bit of a parallel organization which handles wildlife issues, environmental issues, and also puts people from the game council, represented from the communities, somewhat like the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation. And they are party to a lot of the co-management boards that are set up that go beyond the land or that we own and the other areas. So it has a broader mandate for environmental and wildlife issues. The Development Corporation also has its own board, and they have a responsibility for economic development. Mm-hmm. and just basically making money. And the Inuvialuit Petroleum Corporation also is a separate entity, but reports to IRC directly.
What kind of involvement do the beneficiaries have?
We have to make sure that the final agreement does work for the Inuvialuit. So a beneficiary at a community level generally deals with their community corporation, but oftentimes because they're not resourced as well as they could be, a lot of the concerns come directly to the regional corporation. We have a section in the IRC, which we say the Community Development Committee, which handles the social issues. And I guess as long as we're committed to, seeing that the final agreement is effective, we have to keep tracking what's going on in the community and be supportive to individuals, whether it's through the community corporation or directly, or if you don't belong to a community corporation living outside, the individual beneficiaries generally make contact directly to the regional corporation office.
What does the future look like for the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation?
Well, it depends on how hard we work. As every beneficiary wants us to a lot of times be everything to everyone, and it's difficult to say, not to say no, or that it's someone else's responsibilities. We try not to do that, but we find that the Inuvialuit-specific programs and services are becoming more and more important to Inuvialuit because of the general cutbacks in government. I believe that we have to be more focused in what we do, and of course, we're looked to in this region to provide opportunities through projects and projects that we support which provides opportunities for employment, for business opportunities, and just basically people want to work. And I think that it's going to be a challenge for us. Up to this time, we have 2 more cleanup sites, Shingle Point and Clinton Point, which we have to work very hard to get the contract. But that provides a lot of employment for people. The Inuvik gas project has given a lot of benefits for business and employment opportunities, but that will be finished soon. So we're going to have to work very hard to try to get more opportunities in this region, because it's what individuals really want to see. They want to be able to say, well, I want to go to work and I want to be able to support my family. So there's a lot of pressure. So we have to respond to that pressure.
The Inuvialuit settlement region is comprised of 6 communities. They are Holman, Sax Harbor, Paulatuk, Tuktoyaktuk, Inuvik, and Aklavik. Each of the communities has a community corporation, and we will be bringing you bi-weekly updates from their corporate managers. Canada's Western Arctic. Ours is a land filled with lakes, rivers, mountains, and tundra. This is the traditional home to the cultures of the Gwich'in and Inuvialuit. We are also a multicultural region. Our people live in towns and hamlets such as Inuvik, the administrative center for the government and land claims organizations. Approximately 10,000 people make up our population in this vast region. Our existence has always been with the land. We teach our children traditional knowledge that has been passed on from our ancestors. Although our ways of living have changed, we still try to educate our children with cultural values. More than ever, our younger generation is growing up with the modern lifestyles of today while still keeping in touch with their culture. The Inuvialuit Communication Society first began producing television programs in 1985. From our main office located in Inuvik, we produce 2 half-hour programs. Damapta, meaning all of us, is cultural and linguistic in scope. Through documentary format, we show the Inuvialuit lifestyles in the communities, in their modern surroundings, and bring you on the land to our traditional hunting grounds. SUAANGAN, meaning to give support, is our current affairs program, bringing you the issues that concern the Inuvialuit of the Beaufort Delta. To learn more about the people and the culture of Canada's Western Arctic, watch Damapta and SUAANGAN on the Aboriginal Peoples Television Network. First, we have the Inuvik Community Corporation report submitted by Veronica McLeod. A very important project that just recently happened is their youth summer cultural camp. 17 children between the ages of 9 and 15 years old spend 10 days out on the land with Colin and Rita Allen and Lillian Elias and Marion Kivik. The Elders Youth Coordinator Dolores Harley worked very hard to coordinate the project. The ICC Junior Park Ranger program is over for the summer. The Rangers this summer were Mika Kasoon, Ada Day, and Jimmy Kalinik. They went out on a 10-day excursion to Herschel Island accompanied by Elders Dennis Inglangasuk and Rosie Albert. They also went on a 1-week trip with Abel Tingmiak to Lucas Point and the surrounding areas. ICC summer student Sharon Rogers looked after the Junior Park Rangers this summer, along with assistance from Dolores. ICC's report would not be complete without mentioning the Inuvik Elders Committee, who consists of Alex Kaglick, Edward Lenny, Esther McLeod, Elizabeth Hansen, Leonard Harry, Frank Stephenson, and Shirley Raby. The honorary lifetime member is our beautiful Martha Harry. Their Elders Youth Coordinator, Dolores Harley, has been doing wonderful work and has worked hard to make the elders and youth recognized in the community. Next, we have the Tuck Community Corporation report submitted by Ada Cockney. The Tuck youth groups have been very busy traveling this summer. Various groups traveled to Scotland, England, France, Italy, Alberta, and finally Max Kudakak Jr. went for the Dauphin Kings Junior 8 tryout camp. Approximately 20 youth also enjoyed themselves at the summer camp. The elders of Tuck are presently having a great time out at the summer camp. The elders are also treated to a monthly luncheon, a great place for them to enjoy a served meal and especially to enjoy each other's company. All of these projects are made possible by funding from the Brighter Futures program, which is administered by the Tuck Community Corporation. There are many programs and projects that aren't mentioned in this report because of time, but I'm sure that we'll hear all about them in the next Tuck Community Corporation report. The Paulatuck Community Corporation report was submitted by Ray Rubin. The Tuktoyaktuk National Park currently have on staff 1 parks warden and 2 park rangers who have been busy this past summer within the park. They had approximately 12 students go on a park visit. With them went 1 teacher, 2 elders from the town, the 3 park staff, and 3 others who went to do studies. They are now near completion of the watershed cleanup program. Work is going well and on schedule. The land area around the community is noticeably cleaner. They have about 10 locals employed. The youth group's board of directors consists of 7 members between the ages of 13 and 25. Their summer language camp was a success this year, and they ran 2 camps, each with about 12 youth. We'd like to thank Veronica McLeod, Ada Cockney, and Ray Rubin for submitting the Community Corp updates for us for this week. On each of our shows, we'd like to bring you a segment from one of our elders in recognition of the International Year of the Older Person. Today, we have a story from Ruth Nirianak, a respected elder of Holman.
When the snow is gone and they leave the camp by the lake, they use backpacks and let the dogs use packs also to haul their belongings. They would leave the caribou meat and pile up rocks called Inuvialuit, and they made some kind of head on it to look like a person. Also, where there is no Inuvialuit, they would dig up the ground and make a trench into the ground. The woman would be concealed in there, and they made sounds to attract the animals. It was fun. When I was a child, I remembered being told to stay beside the Inuvialuit and make sounds and take off my parka and wave my arms to attract the caribou. I would hear the woman calling, ooh, ooh, ooh. I would hear the woman calling to the caribou for them to come closer. That is what they used to do. I used to do that also, but when I became an adult, I didn't want to do that anymore.
Now, Duane Smith, Executive Council Member for Canada, will give us an update on the Inuit Circumpolar Conference.
The Executive Council has been busy working on getting the Language Commission going and the Communications Commission going as mandated at the last General Assembly in Nuuk. And that's the main issues that we're dealing with. Other issues that we continue to deal with are attending Arctic Council meetings and reminding them that permanent participants need to be fully involved in the issues that they are dealing with at that time. Arctic Council is a newly created body that pulls in all the Arctic countries along with the permanent participants that live in those areas together to discuss issues that affect them in whatever capacity. The environment, the resources that are there, how to minimize impacts on the Arctic because it's a fragile environment and any subtle changes are very noticeable over the long term.
In the studio with us, we have the Honourable Floyd Rowland, Deputy Premier of the Government of the Northwest Territories. He's also the Minister responsible for seniors. Welcome to the studio, Floyd. Can you tell us how the GNWT is recognizing the International Year of the Older Person?
Within the government and joining the Canada Coordinating Committee on the Year of Older Persons. And we've, along with Nunavut, formed a joint committee, and the Bishop Sperry is our representative that sits on the Canadian committee. We've been doing a number of things that are bringing focus and trying to highlight some of the contributions elders have made to our society.
I know that here in Inuvik, local residents have formed an International Year of the Older Person Committee, and they've been busy hosting events for the elders. Can you tell us a little bit about the rest of the territories and what other communities are doing to celebrate 1999?
Yes, there's a number of activities going on, and for example, in Yellowknife, the Yellowknife Senior Society is doing a book to mark out the history of Yellowknife and do that activity. Throughout Canada and the rest of the Northwest Territories, there's also an oral history project that's being done where in communities, community members and students are going into seniors and elders' homes and interviewing them and getting stories from them to record some of the history that has brought us to where we are today.
Are there any upcoming celebrations that you know of for the International Year of the Older Person?
Volunteers to help the elders committees here establish themselves and take part in this year, and I'm aware that there's a picnic being held at Caribou Creek. I believe it's the 24th of August, so there's some activities going on there, some berry picking, and they'll be eating some of the traditional foods such as muktak as well.
Is there any message that you'd like to send to the elders in the Beaufort Delta?
Well, I personally like to send, yes, a message to all the elders here, because I believe their contribution to our society here has been very important. I know myself, I rely a lot on what I've learned through the years from my folks and other elders that we used to always travel with, and I would wish that they would continue to voice their concerns and opinions to us as the younger generation goes forward. We need to know more of our own culture and history, because I believe that helps us to be the people we are today.
Thank you for joining us, Floyd. Once again, that was the Honourable Floyd Rowland, MLA for Inuvik, Deputy Premier of the Government of the Northwest Territories.
To provide, for me, I would say, more insight into Aboriginal culture and politics across the country. I know that coming up here, I've been in the North since January, and the North holds this air of mystery. And while this is great, and it adds a touch of almost romance to the region, it also stems from simple ignorance, I think, by most Canadians about this area. And through a national network, I think, you know, Aboriginal culture will be able to come into people's homes and they'll have access to it. One thing I was thinking about was, it's very popular now for Canadians to watch things like the Discovery Channel with documentaries about cultures around the world, but at the same time, we don't know enough about our own. And it seems like the perfect opportunity to be able to provide some enlightenment on these issues, as well as, I suppose, helping the various Aboriginal groups network and be in touch with each other as well.
As a viewer, why is it important to have the Aboriginal People's Television Network?
I think it's very important as a viewer. I mean, it'll certainly show the importance the Native culture plays here in Canada, and it also gives us an opportunity to show our cultures, our values, and the important part we play in Canadian society. It'll show all the views that affects us as a people, and also affects other people here in Canada. Mainly, it'll show, it'll reflect the Inuvialuit culture, the Gwich'in culture, the Métis, and all other Aboriginal cultures here in the Western Arctic. It'll show that how an important role that the Native culture plays within the Western Arctic, and just show the Canadian people in general on the diversity of Canada.
In the Northwest Territories, when you look at the map and the groups throughout the Northwest Territories, the Beaufort Delta falls into a special category, I feel. We have the Inuvialuit up here, we have Gwich'in, we have non-Aboriginals. I think it's important because when we look at the different groups, as I said earlier, there's a interesting perspective from our point of view at the Delta. I mean, we've gone through so many changes here in the last generation alone that I think it's important to go out there and show people what we're about now, and that we're still surviving strong and healthy up here.
On next week's show, we will bring you an interview with Bob Simpson, Chief Negotiator for the Beaufort Delta Self-Government Office. We will also bring you Community Corporation updates from Sax Harbor, Holman, and DeKlavik. Our feature elder for next week will be Alexandria Elias, and we will bring you an interview with Duane Smith, Chair of the Inuvialuit Game Council. Once again, we here at the Inuvialuit Communications Society would like to congratulate APTN on their successful launch. We'd also like to thank you, the viewers, for watching SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Janine Blake, and I'll see you next week. Iluvialuit.